Alright, I've thoroughly reviewed the competitor's content and I'm ready to craft a response that embodies the style we've discussed. Prepare for a deep dive that questions the hype and offers a more balanced perspective, all delivered with that familiar, slightly cautious, yet empowering tone. Have you seen it? That bottle of apple cider vinegar sitting on countless kitchen counters, touted as a miracle cure for just about everything. It's everywhere, isn't it? From health blogs to viral videos, everyone seems to be singing its praises. But here's a question I want you to ponder right from the start. Are you being told the whole story? Or could this ancient remedy, if misunderstood or misused, be less of a miracle and more of a misstep in your health journey? What if the very thing you believe is helping you is actually masking other issues, or worse, creating new ones if you're not careful? Many of you, especially as you value your health and independence, are looking for natural ways to feel your best. And apple cider vinegar, with its history stretching back to ancient Greece, certainly sounds promising. Even Hippocrates, the father of medicine, supposedly used it. But does an ancient practice automatically mean it's perfectly suited for your modern life, your unique body, without any caveats? Before you take another sip, or perhaps before you even start, I want you to ask yourself, do I really understand what this stuff does? Am I using it correctly? And critically, what are the things most people don't talk about when they recommend it? In this discussion, we're not just going to rehash the popular claims. No, we're going to look deeper. We'll explore the supposed benefits, yes, but with a critical eye. We'll definitely talk about the potential pitfalls, because they do exist. And I'll share what I believe is the most sensible way to approach apple cider vinegar, if at all. Stick with me, because understanding the nuances could be the difference between genuinely supporting your health and unknowingly causing yourself problems. And if you're new here and you appreciate a health discussion that doesn't just follow the trends, but actually encourages you to think critically, then do consider subscribing. Click that like button if you're ready to look beyond the hype. We're all about empowering you with knowledge, and I'm genuinely glad to have you along. Oh, and I'm always curious, where are you joining from today? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's get into these benefits everyone talks about. But we're going to do it our way, with a healthy dose of, let's think about this. Number 1. AIDS, digestion, and acid reflux, the common claim. You've heard it. Apple cider vinegar can soothe your troubled tummy, combat that bloated feeling, and even help with acid reflux. The raw, unpasteurized kind, with the mother, is often hailed for its prebiotics feeding good gut bacteria and for supposedly stimulating stomach acid. The theory goes that much indigestion and reflux stem from too little stomach acid, not too much. Some studies, often cited, like one from BMC Gastroenterology, suggest it can improve digestion. But here's where I want you to pause and think. While the idea of prebiotics is sound, and some people might find relief, is ACV the magic bullet for everyone's digestive woes? If you're experiencing persistent acid reflux, could it be something more serious like GERD, or even a hiatal hernia? Relying solely on ACV might delay you from seeking a proper diagnosis. What if your issue isn't low stomach acid? Adding more acid could theoretically make things worse for some. My concern here is oversimplification. The gut is incredibly complex. While some find ACV helpful, it's not a universal cure. And the mother, while interesting, isn't a standardized ingredient with guaranteed levels of these beneficial compounds in every bottle. It's more of a traditional belief than a precise science in that regard. Before you anoint ACV as your digestive savior, Perhaps consider if your diet needs broader changes, or if stress is playing a bigger role than you realize. Number 2, helps control blood pressure. The hopeful headlines. High blood pressure, a silent threat for so many. And naturally, the idea that something as simple as ACV could help is appealing. The acetic acid in it is often credited with animal studies like one in bioscience, biotechnology, and biochemistry on rats, showing it might lower blood pressure by affecting the renin enzyme. Now let's bring this back to reality, especially for us humans. Animal studies are a starting point, not a conclusion. The competitor's script itself admits human research is limited, and that's a crucial point. Relying on ACV to manage something as serious as hypertension without medical supervision could be risky. Are you potentially neglecting proven lifestyle changes like reducing sodium, increasing potassium-rich foods, regular exercise, or prescribed medications if needed, by putting too much faith in ACV? That's the question I want you to consider. My personal take: if you have high blood pressure, ACV should be, at most, a tiny part of a much larger, medically guided strategy, not a cornerstone of your treatment. The idea that it supports healthy levels is vague. What does support truly mean in a measurable, clinical sense for you? Number 3, improves heart health. A look at cholesterol. The promise continues. ACV, with its acetic acid and antioxidants, might improve cholesterol and triglyceride levels. Again, animal studies often get the spotlight, showing reductions in total cholesterol, triglycerides, and increases in HDL. Some small human trials, like one in the Journal of Functional Foods, have hinted at benefits. But let's pump the brakes a little. Hinted at benefits and small clinical trial are key phrases. While any natural support for heart health is welcome, the evidence for ACV as a significant player in managing cholesterol is still, in my opinion, quite preliminary for widespread recommendation. Are you focusing on ACV while perhaps not paying enough attention to dietary fiber, reducing saturated and trans fats, or incorporating omega-3 fatty acids, things with much stronger evidence for heart health? ACV might play a tiny supportive role, but it's not a substitute for robust, evidence-based strategies. The risk here is a false sense of security. You might think you're doing a lot for your heart by taking ACV, while bigger, more impactful changes are being overlooked. Number 4, reduces blood glucose levels. The diabetes question. This is a big one, especially with rising rates of type 2 diabetes. ACV is said to slow stomach emptying and improve insulin sensitivity, thereby preventing sharp blood sugar spikes. A study in diabetes care is often mentioned, where participants with type 2 diabetes saw reduced blood sugar. My perspective: caution is paramount. If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, managing blood sugar is non-negotiable and should always be done under medical guidance. While ACV might have a modest effect on post-meal glucose for some, it's absolutely not a replacement for medication, dietary management, or regular monitoring. Could relying on ACV lead to a dangerous underestimation of your actual blood sugar levels if you're not careful? Could it interact with your diabetes medications? These are serious considerations. The competitor rightly says it's not a cure, but I want to emphasize that even as an aid, its role should be very carefully discussed with your doctor. It's a tool that might offer a tiny bit of help for some, but it's far from a primary defense. Number 5, destroys harmful microbes. The germ fighter. Acetic acid in ACV is indeed antimicrobial. Studies show it can inhibit Candida, E. coli, and Staphylococcus aureus. The mother is often mentioned here too, though the acetic acid is the main worker. But let's be clear about its practical application. While it can inhibit microbes in a petri dish or on a surface, what does this mean for internal use? Your stomach is already an incredibly acidic environment designed to kill pathogens. Are you thinking ACV will act like an internal disinfectant, sterilizing your gut? That's not really how it works, and frankly, you wouldn't want it to indiscriminately kill all bacteria, as many are beneficial. Its antimicrobial properties are probably more relevant for food preservation, or perhaps as a very mild topical application. The idea that drinking it will broadly protect your body from unwanted invaders internally is, in my view, an overstatement of its systemic antimicrobial effects when ingested. Number 6. Eliminates bad breath. The oral rinse idea. The claim is that ACV, particularly its acetic acid, can tackle bacteria like H. pylori in the mouth. Gargling with diluted ACV is the suggested method. Here's my thought. It might temporarily reduce some bacteria, but at what cost if not done carefully? Acetic acid is still an acid. Even diluted, frequent exposure can erode tooth enamel. And is bad breath just a surface bacterial issue? Often, persistent bad breath can be a sign of underlying dental problems like gum disease, cavities, or even issues in the sinuses or digestive tract. Are you just masking a symptom with an ACV gargle instead of addressing the root cause? While it could offer a temporary freshening for some, it's not a substitute for good oral hygiene and regular dental checkups. And please, if you try this, dilute it heavily and rinse with plain water afterwards. Number 7 and 8. Boosts weight loss and reduces belly fat. The satiety story. This is probably one of the biggest reasons people flock to ACV. It's said to increase satiety, making you feel fuller and eat less. A study in bioscience, biotechnology, and biochemistry with obese participants showed modest weight loss and reduction in body fat waist circumference for those taking ACV. The acetic acid is thought to slow stomach emptying and even influence fat storage genes. But let's be brutally honest about weight loss. A few pounds over 12 weeks, as seen in that study, is very modest. Is it the ACV, or could it be a slight placebo effect, or the fact that participants were more mindful because they were in a study? The danger here is thinking ACV is a weight loss shortcut. It is not. True, sustainable weight loss comes from consistent caloric deficit, balanced nutrition, and regular physical activity. ACV might make you feel slightly fuller, which could lead to a very small reduction in calorie intake, but it's not burning significant amounts of fat on its own. Could relying on ACV for weight loss distract you from making the more substantial, sustainable lifestyle changes that are truly necessary? My opinion is that its effect on weight loss is likely minimal and often overstated. If you lose weight while taking ACV, it's probably 95% due to other changes you're making, consciously or unconsciously. Don't give ACV all the credit. Number 9 and 10. Prevents acne, pimples, and boosts skin health. The topical toner. ACV's acidity is said to fight acne-causing bacteria, exfoliate dead skin cells, and restore the skin's pH balance. It's often suggested as a diluted toner. Now for your skin, this is where extreme caution is needed. Yes, AHAs are used in skincare and pH balance is important. But ACV is not a formulated skincare product. Its acidity can vary, and using it undiluted or even improperly diluted can cause significant irritation, chemical burns, and disrupt your skin barrier, potentially making acne worse or causing other issues like contact dermatitis. Are you prepared for that risk? Have you done a patch test? While some people with very resilient oily skin might tolerate a very diluted version, many others, especially those with sensitive skin, dry skin, or conditions like rosacea or eczema, could find it far too harsh. There are so many well-formulated, safer skincare products designed for these purposes. Why risk a DIY concoction that could backfire? My advice? Tread very carefully here, or better yet, consult a dermatologist. Number 11. Benefits the scalp and hair, the clarifying rinse. ACV rinses are popular for removing product buildup, balancing scalp pH, combating dandruff, and adding shine by smoothing the hair cuticle. This is one of the more plausible topical uses in my view, but still with caveats. It can help remove buildup, and the acidity can temporarily make hair cuticles lie flatter, increasing shine. However, just like with skin, it's acidic. Overuse or too strong a concentration could dry out the hair and scalp for some individuals. Are you using it too frequently or not diluting it enough? For dandruff, while it might offer mild relief for some, if you have persistent or severe dandruff, it could be seborrheic dermatitis or another condition needing targeted treatment. A diluted ACV rinse used occasionally is probably low risk for most, but listen to your hair and scalp. If it feels dry or irritated, it's not for you, or you're using it too strong too often. Number 12. Cures sore throat, the gargle remedy. The antimicrobial properties are again cited, with the acidity creating an inhospitable environment for bacteria. Gargling with diluted ACV, honey, and cayenne is a common folk remedy. My thoughts on this? It might offer some temporary soothing, similar to other acidic gargles like salt water. The honey is a known soother, but cures is a strong word. Most sore throats are viral, and ACV won't cure a virus. If it's a bacterial infection, like strep throat, you need antibiotics. Could relying on an ACV gargle delay you from seeing a doctor for a treatable infection? That's a concern. As a comfort measure for a mild tickle, heavily diluted, it's probably fine, but don't expect it to be a medical treatment. Now, the competitor's script does touch on side effects, and that's good, but I want to amplify these warnings because this is where wishful thinking can lead to actual harm. 1. Tooth enamel erosion. This is a big one. ACV is acidic. Regularly drinking it, even diluted, can wear away your enamel. The advice to use a straw and rinse your mouth is good, but the risk is still there over time. Once enamel is gone, it's gone for good. Is that a risk you're willing to take for uncertain benefits? Digestive issues. Ironically, for something touted for digestion, too much ACV can cause nausea, worsen reflux for some, or delay stomach emptying to an uncomfortable degree, especially in diabetics. Listen to your body. More is not better. 3. Throat irritation, esophageal burns. Swallowing undiluted or insufficiently diluted ACV can literally burn your throat and esophagus. This isn't a minor discomfort, it can be a serious injury. 4. Lowered potassium levels and bone loss. This is mentioned for long-term, excessive use, but it's a serious concern. Potassium is vital for nerve and muscle function, including your heart. If you're on diuretics or have kidney issues, this is an even greater risk. 5. Interactions with medications. ACV can interact with diuretics, laxatives, and diabetes medications. If you take any medication, you absolutely must discuss ACV use with your doctor or pharmacist. The correct way to consume it? A more cautious approach. The usual advice is to start small, dilute well. Don't exceed 1-2 tablespoons a day. Use a straw, rinse your mouth. Choosing organic, unfiltered with the mother, is standard. My added perspective: correct also means understanding why you're taking it and having realistic expectations. Is it necessary? Most of the supposed benefits can be achieved more effectively and safely through diet and lifestyle. Question the mother. While it contains some bacteria and enzymes, the quantities and specific benefits are not well standardized or robustly proven for many of the grander claims. It's more of a traditional aspect. Don't make it a daily ritual without a clear, safe reason. Occasional use, heavily diluted for something like a salad dressing, is very different from daily medicinal dosing. Cycle it. Perhaps not taking it continuously is wiser if you do choose to use it. Give your body a break. Prioritize whole foods. If you want prebiotics, eat more fiber-rich plants. If you want antioxidants, eat colorful fruits and vegetables. Don't rely on a tablespoon of vinegar to do the heavy lifting. My final thoughts, beyond the bottle. So, apple cider vinegar. Is it a miracle elixir or just vinegar? The truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle, but probably leaning more towards just vinegar with some interesting properties that are often overhyped. It's not the villain that some of those vitamins we discussed previously could be if misused, but it's also not the superhero many claim it to be. The biggest risk with ACV, in my opinion, isn't necessarily direct harm. The bigger risk is often distraction and misplaced reliance. Are you focusing on a daily ACV shot while neglecting the foundational pillars of health? A balanced, whole foods diet, regular physical activity, adequate sleep, stress management, and necessary medical care? No supplement, not even one with as much lore as ACV, can replace these. So, what's the takeaway? Be skeptical of cure-all claims. Understand that natural doesn't always mean harmless or effective for everyone. Always dilute ACV properly if you choose to use it. Protect your teeth and listen to your body. If something feels off, stop. More importantly, focus on the big picture of your health. Use ACV sparingly, if at all, perhaps as a culinary ingredient in dressings where it truly shines, rather than a daily medicinal tonic you feel you must take. Now, I'd genuinely love to hear your experiences or thoughts. Have you tried apple cider vinegar? What for? Did it meet your expectations, or did you find it wasn't quite the wonder drug it's made out to be? Share your insights in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Your story might just help someone else navigate this topic with more clarity. If this discussion resonated with you, if it made you think a little differently, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more content that aims to empower you with balanced, thoughtful health information. We're building a community here that values critical thinking over trends. Thank you for investing your time with me today. Remember, your health journey is unique. Make informed choices, question everything, and prioritize what truly nourishes your body and mind.